All right, next we're still on this journey here where we're reviewing Algebra 1 material. Okay, so we are now going to look at solving multi-step equations where you have variables on both sides of the equation, right? And so this presents us with an opportunity where we have to try to figure out what side do we put things on, and how exactly do we move things, and how does this work, right? And so it's not going to necessarily incorporate anything brand new, but it's just adding another component of how we look at our strategy. So the best way is just to dive into these things, okay? So this example we have right here, we have 7p plus 13 equals 9p minus 5. Now, I'm going to show you two ways to go about this one, all right? So generally speaking, you know, you can pretty much decide which side you want things on. What you want is you want variables on one side, right? And you want your constants on the other. And remember, your constants are your numbers that are by themselves, right? Sorry, that looks like constants. So we're changing the line here. So in this one right here, I have variables and constants on both sides, right? So it really doesn't matter which side you decide to work with, okay? But I'm going to show you two different strategies, all right? So we're going to do strategy 1, which is basically variables on left side, right? So that works, right? So we have 7p plus 13. Let's just rewrite it out. Equals 9p minus 5. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to recognize that we're kind of going over this fence. And when you go over the fence, your signs change, right? The way I try to describe it in classes, I say, you change sides, you change your signs, right? If you change your side, you change your sign. So if you're positive on one side, but you go to the other side, you change the sign, right? And that's just kind of how algebra works. And the reason that is because if you're taking a positive thing and you're moving it to the other side, you're actually subtracting it from the side it's on. So because it's a balanced equation, you have to subtract it from both sides, right? And it's the same thing if you have something that's negative already. To get rid of it, you have to add it, right? And so if you add it to one side, you got to add it to the other. So if you think about it just as like, okay, we're moving sides, so we're changing our signs. Okay, so in this one, we got 7p here, we got 9p here. We're going to put the variables on the left. So let's start with moving this thing over here. All right, so when I move the 9p over, I'm basically subtracting it. So I go minus 9p minus 9p, and that gives me negative 2p plus 13 equals negative 5. And it's really important when you work on this to stay organized and make sure you're lining things up, because it makes a giant difference in how things work. I see a lot of people who struggle with this, they're really disorganized, and tightening up your organization makes a big difference. All right, now I've got my variable on the left, which means I got to get my constants on the right. Okay, so this positive 13 has to go over to the other side. And so when that happens, we subtract it. Okay, and that's going to give me negative 2p is equal to negative 18. And then once you get it to this, you're generally speaking going to have either a division or a multiplication step, most of the time a division step, right? So we have negative 2, so we are going to divide both sides by whatever the coefficient is. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. And then you're going to get p is equal to 9. All right? And if I put it in, 7 times 9 is 63, plus 6 plus 13 gives me 76 up here. 9 times 9 is 81 minus 5, which also gives me 76. So it works out, okay? Now, I want to show you something. I want to show you that strategy 2, right, offers you something that strategy 1 doesn't. And strategy 2 is move variables to the side with more. So you pick the side that has more of the variable, right? So if we rewrite this again, we have 7p plus 13 equals 9p minus 5. The side that has more of the variable is this side, right? So then I'm going to move the 7p over here, right? So when I do that, I subtract 7p because it's positive right now. So subtract it. So you get 2p minus 5 equals 13. And then you're going to add 5 because you have to move your 5 over to the other side, right? And so we're basically doing the mirror image of everything we did. And it doesn't matter if your variables aren't right. It doesn't change your answer. It doesn't change anything, right? Now we're going to divide by positive 2 in this case because that's what the coefficient is. And you're going to get p is equal to 9. And so in both cases, you get the same answer, right? What's nice about moving the variable to the side where there's more is you will never have to divide by a negative number. You'll always be dividing or multiplying by a positive number for your last step. And that's kind of nice because then you don't have to worry so much about your divisibility and multiplication rules with signs. Okay, so that's why I advocate for doing that. But you don't have to. All right, so now I want you to pause the video and I want you to try this problem right here. And you can use whichever strategy you want. So have at it, and then start up the video again, and we'll do the video solution. Okay, so I'm going to make some room here. Okay, we're just going to get rid of this one, because if you need it, you can rewind the video. Rewind, that sounded old. You can go back on the video. All right, so let's put my fence. We'll just leave this right here. We have negative x here. We have negative 6x. So this side has more. Negative 1 is bigger than negative 6. So I'm going to add 6x to both sides. I'm going to go plus 6x, all right, because it's negative over here. So this is going to give me, that's going to zero that out and give me 15. And then we're going to get 10 plus 5x because you have positive 6 and negative 1. All right, remember, if there's no number in front of that x, it's 1. Okay, now subtract 10. Okay, you get 5x is equal to 5. Divide by 5, and you should get x is equal to 1. Again, this will work if you go the other way as well. Okay, both of them work. So let's check let's do our check step. Oh, that was nuts. All right, we don't want that. Let's do our check steps. All right, so we're going to go 10 minus 1 equals, sorry, I'm writing under it, negative 6 times 1 plus 15. Well, this side, 10 minus 1 gives you 9, right? And then negative 6 plus 15 gives you 9 as well. So, be good. Get your check. So this is my answer, and we're in good shape. All right, another video coming up.